Welcome to the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding Podcast.
A simple warning. We know many of you are planning a wedding right now. We may be tempted to drop an F-bomb or other descriptive words. Keep this in mind if you have small children in the room or are on a Zoom call. You've been warned.
The Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding Podcast.
Let's be honest, planning a wedding is tricky. And at Be Engaged and Inspired, we'll share our knowledge to help you navigate these tricky waters and leaving you feeling inspired.
The Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding Podcast is sponsored by EasyEventPlanning.com. They make planning any event fast and easy. EasyEventPlanning.com. And now your hosts, Kia and DJ Sam.
Welcome to the Be Engaged and Inspired the Wedding Podcast. DJ Sam from Atmosphere Productions.
And Kia from Engaged, Connecticut.
We've got a busy show, so we're going to get right into it. Firstly, I want to thank all of the folks over at YouShookRadioNetwork.com, especially DJ Paulie. We are now syndicated on the Wedding Talk channel on YouShook.com Radio Network, America's radio station. So we want to thank DJ Paulie for that, and I want to thank Kia for coming.
Yeah, okay, Sam. Okay.
We're at the Meadowbrook Estate
Yep.
Studios, and it's nice and warm here.
I actually don't mind the cold like you do, Sam, because I'm not as big of a baby. So it's Wednesday. We know what you have for us.
Wedding Tip Wednesday, and it's available on the Be Engaged and Inspired Facebook group page. Go there every Wednesday and join the group for free.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is brought to you by Emerge Cosmetics. Are you ready to emerge? A new line of luxurious lipsticks and lip glosses created with the intention of empowerment and coming into who you truly are. Strong, beautiful, and confident. Use the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding Podcast coupon code EBI10 at shopemergecosmetics.com for an instant 10% discount. That's coupon code EBI10 for 10% discount at shopemergecosmetics.com. Emerge as the true you.
Dollar Tree is the nation's #1 destination for value shopping. All of their stores are well lit and crammed with all kinds of hidden treasures. Dollar Tree offers a plethora of merchandise that includes many national and regionally trusted brands. It doesn't matter if you're looking for housewares, dinnerware, candy, snacks, stationery, or holiday needs. You're going to find it at Dollar Tree. You can shop at your hometown store or shop online for exclusive offers, manufacturer closeouts, watch videos, and join their value Seekers Club. On top of all that, you can have your order shipped for free directly to your local store. To visit DollarTree.com, click on the link in the show notes to let them know we sent you. Doing so helps keep our podcast going. Dollar Tree.
Help us out. Make a donation now to help support this podcast. Please go to our anchor.fm profile, click Support This Podcast at the top of the page, or use the link in the show notes of this episode, or go to the Atmosphere Productions business profile on Venmo. Thank you for making a donation and helping support this podcast.
You're listening to the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding Podcast.
Now syndicated on the Wedding Talk channel on YouShook.com Radio Network, America's radio station.
Today's Wedding Tip Wednesday, Kia, is... I'm not meaning this is for you, because it says don't get drunk and obnoxious. I didn't want anybody to think that I was speaking to you. Okay. Keep in mind, the only time couples eat, typically during the wedding day rituals, are at the reception. So try and eat something throughout the day and watch how much you drink. You want your guests to remember how beautiful the couple looked, not
the other stuff.
Not how they acted.
Well, the other key thing, and I think you and I have discussed this before, is drink the same thing all night long. Try to stick to like one or two things.
And that's important because mixing drinks makes you a little bit drunker quicker, right?
Yeah, and we all remember those days.
I don't, but I can tell you do. You're having a flashback right now, right? Yeah, so that's our Wedding Tip Wednesday, and Wedding Tip Wednesday is brought to you by our good friend Lauren at Emerge Cosmetics. So don't forget to use the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding Podcast coupon code EBI10 at shopemergecosmetics.com for an instant 10% discount. That's coupon code EBI10 for 10% discount at Shop Emerge Cosmetics. They have some great lipsticks and lip glosses, and you can emerge as the true you.
Speaking of the true you...
Now, why would you be saying that?
Because as we sat down, you've decided to add a little bit of extra stuff to our podcast in this, since we are in the new year, clearly.
And that's because I'm now going to offer my words of wisdom, or as I call them, inspirational quotes. And I'm going to give you two just that you can ponder.
I'll ponder something for sure.
A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always, with the same person. That's a good one. I like that.
That is.
And that's by Mignon McLaughlin. I hope I pronounced his first name correct. I'm sure he'll write something abusive to me.
Yes.
And the second one is from our friend J.R.R. Tolkien. You know him?
I do.
Okay. And his inspirational quote is that we have become as one, deep-rooted in the soil of life and tangled in the sweet growth.
I think that has been in a few of my couple's vows over the last few years.
See, I go directly to the things that hit the main points of people's lives, and my inspirational quotes will do that from now on.
Okay. Anyways, so obviously everybody's here listening, and we're going to share some trends.
No, they just turned off the podcast.
I would. And I'm with you, and I'm trying to figure out how to get out of here. So we're going to discuss trends.
The trends of 2022.
Yes, which seems so weird.
I know. You remember in March of 2020, we were wondering, what the hell trends are we going to have in 21?
Yep. So what were some of those trends for 2021?
Well, I'm just going to go run through a couple of them. Of course, added safety precautions was a big trend that they predicted for 2021. And they were right.
They're right. They're still sort of standing for 2022 at least.
It is. Changed seating arrangements. So instead of having 150 people, you had 50, and then
they're going back.
A friend of mine told me of a wedding that they went to that they tested everybody as they came in for COVID.
Okay.
But they didn't separate the negative ones from the positive ones, and they all went to sit down in their usual seats.
Oh, my goodness.
What was the point of testing?
I don't know. Should have put like a line of tape down the middle, and you sit over there and...
No, I would have sent them home.
I would have too, but...
Be gone, be gone. Another prediction was changed how food was served. And that's up your alley.
Yeah.
Because it definitely did change, right?
It changed a lot. Yeah.
A lot of buffets.
A lot of buffets changed. There was a lot more serving going on. Do you want to have a sneeze guard, like a salad sneeze guard? Yeah.
I don't like buffets anymore. Anyway, got married in one of their hometowns. That was very popular. People did backyard weddings.
Yeah, but I mean, those still happen no matter what. So.
Right. But there was more of them.
Well, there was more of them because venues weren't open. And some people just were like saying, hell, screw it, we're just going to get married in our own backyard.
Yeah, you remind me of that very well. And then the last one I'm going to give you was the average spend on extra health and safety measures for guests was an extra $280.
Interesting. That one I would not have been able to tell you.
No. Well, I just picked it out of this article.
Okay.
From 2020. So now we're in 2022, and we're going to see if we can have to do some predictions for maybe 2022 and 23.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, what's one of the trends that your trusty articles are telling us is going to be happening this year?
One of the big ones, it's something that we do now anyway, but it's supposed to get bigger. Outdoor weddings will be more elegant and have a more personalized touch.
I think all of the weddings that you and I have done that are outdoors have still had all of that.
So we really are ahead of the trend.
We are. Okay. But I think part of that is, too, and once again, it's because people are using their yards. They are picking some outdoor spaces. And so many wedding people had to pivot and change what they were doing. So I think some of the things that you can get for your outside wedding have are a little bit easier to get.
And I also think that because we're in New England and it's not sunny all the time, we have to pivot a lot quicker.
Yes.
Because we don't have that much time for weddings.
I understand you're cold. Stop complaining. The heat is on.
Another one is private personal vows.
Yeah.
That's something that, again...
I feel like that that depends on the couple. I really don't think that as a couple you're sitting there reading this article and saying, oh, private personal vows. Okay, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to do something really different that I've never heard before. No. Couples just don't do that, do they?
Not when it comes to vows.
And most typically, I would say the guys are a little bit more relaxed with their vows, as in they're not as personalized as the ladies.
No,
I'm looking at this wrong.
You're thinking about yourself.
Could be right.
So, if you've been living together and been quarantining together, your vows better be deeply, deeply.
You got a point there.
Yes.
And not just something that you Googled.
No. Or, quoted out of a book, out of an inspiration poster.
Or Rick Ashley's song, something like that. You don't want to do that.
No.
Okay. Next one is beautiful attire. Things are going to be bigger. Things are going to be more extravagant.
I'm going to say it's because you can't go in your yoga pants and your sweatpants anymore. And I do think everybody is has been eager to get back out. This is why, remember, I told you last year that I was going to see more and more people actually saying yes to attending your wedding. You're not going to have as many RSVPs of no. And it's because everybody's been home. And so if you haven't been going to, some people I know go to like 5 weddings per year. And they haven't gone to any. So all of a sudden, when they start coming back in, and it's like, oh, party time, awesome, open bar, great, we're going.
And not only the couple are going to be dressed to the nines.
Yes, I think so.
The nines, the tens, whatever, the nines. The guests are going to be too. A wedding I did last October, one gentleman had a white jacket.
Oh, cool.
How many guys do you see go to a wedding in white?
Not very often.
And he was a guest.
Oh, my goodness.
But he looked sharp. He really did. All right. Next thing is string lights.
Those have been around forever. But once again, this is because you're outside.
More of that
that's
sort
where
of thing. Yep. And we're later on this season, we're going to get Rob Alberti in here.
Yes, absolutely.
He's a big expert on string lights, and he'll explain to you why they're so popular.
It's not as easy just to, hang it up from here to there.
Listen, we can do that about an hour before the ceremony starts, right? Yeah. No. So listen up for that. That's coming up in a few episodes. Next up is non-traditional venues. Again.
This is New England. Everything is non-traditional, basically. Unless it's like a hotel ballroom. Yeah. Pretty much everything in Connecticut is non-traditional.
And because we have a lot of barns up in this area, that's another thing that people gravitate to.
Yeah, and there's old banks that have been changed into wedding venues.
Oh yes, you're right.
There's just a lot. There's a lot of history up in here in New England, so it just. Yep. What else are you going to do with this weird building? So you might as well go with it.
And you might as well make a venue out of it. Yep. And also non-traditional meals. Now, this is where you're kind of an expert on, because I know in 2021 you did several weddings that the meals were totally different.
They're totally different. It's one of those things where couples, I think, are saying like, hey, I want to bring in my Jamaican roots or my Polish roots or my whatever. They're trying to.
That's right.
And because you're not having a big, huge selection, you're having a lot more plated meals. Yep. Some people are saying like, I really need to have like a little touch of me in like side dishes or something like that. Yep. So it's not so much picking from A, B, and C of a menu list, which I like anyways.
And food trucks are still popular.
They're not going anywhere. They're just not. I don't have a problem with them except for the cleanup.
Yes, you keep mentioning that.
And I will continue to mention it because for some reason it seems to just be this thing that people just think the food truck arrives and when it leaves, I don't know, that it somehow pulls all of its plates with it.
And that's the great thing of having a food truck. You can expand your vision of what food that you want and make it as non-traditional as you want to be. Signs and more signs.
Feel like I wish that was something that was going away.
But it isn't, is it?
No, but I really wish it would because I get it. If I look over there and there's ceremony seats and then there's a tent, I'm going to assume I go to the ceremony first and then I'm going to walk over to the tent.
You don't really need a sign for that.
Hopefully not.
But I'm also seeing it at venues too. So at regular wedding venues, there's a sign that says guest book.
Yes.
Dance floor.
Yes. Shoes. Here's your blankets if you're going to sit around the fire pit. Here's your fire pit. Here's your s'mores bars. Here's how you make a s'more. There's a level of this, and what you don't want is, first of all, nobody realizes where all those signs have to go after.
Yeah, somebody's got to collect them.
Somebody's got to collect them, but they also take up a lot more space than you think they are. You're thinking, oh, they're flat. It's just easy. People still will ask. Like, even if there's a sign, they can literally be looking at the fire pit going, like, can we sit around this?
Yeah.
You don't. Yep. Okay, we're going to go to commercials, and we're going to come back and discuss more of these, hopefully not in ridiculous trends.
But first, we want to remind you about the official New Bride Name Change Kit. It's a complete name change kit for new brides and same-sex couples, containing instructions, checklists, and all government forms for you to complete, plus labels for your envelopes, and it's customized to your own state and local jurisdictions. Everything you need, just open the pretty pink box and get ready to go from Miss to Mrs. or Mr. to Mr. without any hassle. The official New Bride Name Change Kit. Use the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding podcast link in the show notes or visit atmosphere-productions.com. Select the podcast link and click on the namechangekit.com banner. Clicking the link, it don't cost you anything, but your purchase will help compensate us and keep this podcast alive.
Each week, the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding podcast posts a new episode sharing wedding tips, knowledge, and speaking with wedding experts, all as a chance to help you navigate your way through planning your own wedding. Have a topic you want us to cover? Want to send us a message? Email us at engagedct@gmail.com, go to the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding Podcast Facebook group page, or on anchor.fm and select message. Your message will be recorded and may be aired on a future episode.
The Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding podcast will be right back.
Emerge Cosmetics. Are you ready to emerge?
I bought this lipstick after my wedding trial with Lauren and instantly fell in love with it. It is smooth and creamy and the color is beautiful.
This is Lauren Simpson from Emerge Cosmetics, a professional makeup artist with over a decade of experience in the beauty industry. That's the reaction we're getting from our new line of carefully curated lip products that wear well and feel comfortable. These are a must-have for your collection. All products are made in the USA, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and most are vegan. Shop emergecosmetics.com for lipsticks and lip glosses that not only feel great, but last for hours in an array of different colors. Free shipping on orders over $100. Use the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding Podcast coupon code EBI10 at shopemergecosmetics.com for an instant 10% discount. That's coupon code EBI10 for 10% discount at shopemergecosmetics.com. Emerge as the true you.
Hey, Sam, when it comes to finding the right professional vendor, it can seem overwhelming to know where to start.
It can, Kia, unless you use easyeventplanning.com, because they'll find perfect vendors for your event within your budget and deliver them right to your inbox. You can search through over 28 categories of party and wedding services. Get the details you need to narrow down your choices quickly with their category-specific profiles. Chat with vendors via text, audio, or video from any device.
EasyEventPlanning.com will make planning your wedding or event easy, from their extensive vendor directory to their free tips on favors, decorations, themes, and more. Contact them today at EasyEventPlanning.com.
Let Here to the Moon Travel be your go-to specialist to avoid the headaches and stress of planning your trip. Hi, this is Michelle from Here to the Moon Travel. You can find us at heretothemoontravel.com. Travel and customer service is my passion, and having a one-on-one relationship is something that a virtual site really cannot provide. We are your personal booking resource for all your travel needs. We can assist with anything from your honeymoon, destination wedding, luxury travel, group, family, or corporate travel, and so much more. heretothemoontravel.com.
Honey Fund, the world's #1 wedding registry. Honey Fund helps real couples realize their wedding and honeymoon dreams. Honey Fund's #1 online wedding gift registry makes it easy to give and receive the perfect wedding gift, one that reflects the couple's unique style and makes giving fun for the wedding guest. As the world's most popular crowdfunding site for weddings, honeymoons, and more, Honey Fund has helped hundreds of thousands of couples make their wedding dreams come true with an easy-to-use funding platform. Honey Fund, a gift card wedding registry that's as flexible as cash. Use the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding Podcast link in the show notes, or visit atmosphere-productions.com. Select the podcast link and click on the Honey Fund banner. That's atmosphere-productions.com. Select the podcast link and click on the Honey Fund banner.
Hey, Aaron Miller here from Aaron Miller Photography.
I'm Michelle from Destination Weddings Unlimited.
This is Marty Q.
I'm Donna from Creative Cakes by Donna, and I listen every week.
You should tell an engaged friend.
And I always listen to DJ Sam and Kia
on the Be Engaged and Inspired podcast. Jeff Ladd here from Tire Biter and Jeff Ladd DJ Plus.
This is Christina Wesley from La Femme Boudoir Photography.
Tell an engaged friend or somebody planning an event.
I'm Lauren Simpson from LA Page Makeup, and I listen every week for the great tips and suggestions.
You should tell an engaged friend.
Every single Wednesday. And you know what? It's free.
Free on iTunes and Google Podcasts. I suggest you listen too.
You should listen too.
Everyone is talking about the DJ Pauly Show on YouShook.com.
Hi everyone, this is Keith Urban, and you're listening to the #1 DJ on the planet, DJ Pauly.
What's going on, everybody? This is Charles,
Hillary,
and Dave, and we are
Lady Antebellum.
And you're listening to the #1 DJ on the internet. It's DJ Pauly, y'all.
Hey y'all, I'm Kelsey Ballerini, and you're listening to the #1 DJ on the internet. It's DJ Pauly, y'all.
The DJ Pauly Show on YouShook.com. We dare to be different. Join us and see for yourselves.
Meadowbrook Estates and Mansion is located in Marlborough, Connecticut, perfectly situated between New York City and Boston. Our one-of-a-kind 10,500 square foot venue offers lodging for up to 30 guests and a stunning ballroom for intimate weddings. Looking to host a larger event? We have a gorgeous outside setting right next to our heated pool and small rambling brook. Contact us at Engage, Connecticut for more details.
Atmosphere Productions for professional disc jockeys. Live musicians, custom lighting and photo booth.
When your wedding entertainment has to have the amazing music be fun, organized, and unforgettable, your choice has to be Atmosphere Production. Experience the difference. www.atmosphere-productions.com. That's www.atmosphere-productions.com.
DJs, live musicians, custom lighting and photo booth. Atmosphere Productions for professional disc jockeys.
On next week's episode of the Be Engaged and Inspired the Wedding podcast, join DJ Sam and Kia as we talk about...
If it's too good to be true, is it?
It probably is, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Right here on the Be Engaged and Inspired the Wedding podcast, now syndicated on the Wedding Talk channel on YouShook.com radio, America's radio station.
Now back to the Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding podcast, sponsored by EasyEventPlanning.com. They make planning any event fast and easy. EasyEventPlanning.com. With your hosts, Kia and DJ Sam.
Welcome back to the Be Engaged and Inspired the Wedding podcast, and we're discussing trends with Miss Kia here for 2022 and beyond.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the trends, but they come and go. Some things don't. A classic stays, and there's a reason why it's called the classic.
It always does. Mm-hmm. Just like people ask me, why'd you play old-time rock and roll and the twist and the electric slide and the Macarena? Why? Because they're classics now.
Yep, they absolutely are.
That's why people dance to them. You may not like them,
but you will still dance, and you'll find yourself just like all of a sudden singing along, even if you don't want to.
After a few beers, you'll do anything.
Yes.
Anyway, the next on our list is live streaming.
Oh, I think that's going to stay for many, many years.
And I think it's a great idea, even if it's just somebody with a phone stuck up on FaceTime, just pointing at the camera. I've seen a couple of people do that. You don't have to be very elaborate, but if you want to live stream with video cameras and
a lot of videography companies do offer this. I know, like Inspiration by InMotion, they have an absolute like separate package that's just for that part of it. Yeah. And I've even had people who've set up like a private Facebook group so that everybody who they purposely invite them in, and then they have somebody sit there and stream it.
It's a great idea. I don't do that personally with my company, but I would definitely recommend you get that. Being a person that has a lot of family from out of the country and around the world, I think it's a great idea. When my daughter gets married in a few years, I think I'm going to try and do something like that.
I think it's smart.
Can you repeat that again?
No, I didn't say I didn't think you were smart. I said I think it's smart.
Oh, let's move along swiftly. High-end details like acrylic wedding invitations. Have you ever heard of that before?
I have. They're nice. They're heavy. They cost a lot. I really do think that you can put your money into a different place. I say if you're going to do signage, that might be the cool signage to do. You can get them off of Etsy and stuff on the acrylic. Because you'll get more money or bang for your buck for that part of it.
So the acrylic envelope are literally physically heavier in the envelope that you have to mail to each guest.
It's like, think about like getting a piece of plexiglass. So depending
it's like that.
Yeah,
it's
so depending on how thick you can go, it's going to cost more than a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's like when you get cardstock costs more than a regular piece of paper. There's a reason for it.
So be prepared for your postage.
Be prepared for your postage. Also be prepared of like what are you sending back? Like things like that.
For the return.
For the return part of it,
RSVP.
Most people don't do the acrylic for that part coming back.
I was going to say. Yeah.
If you wanted to do something like that, I think ordering yourself like one would be cute for your photos and that. But
the rest, regular.
I would still. Yeah, that's just me.
Agreed. Cakes are getting bigger and uglier
because we're getting back to having more people.
Yeah.
That's the reason of it. I'm still not a big, huge cake person. I enjoy a nice little slice every now and then, but Waistline has appreciated not having as many of them for the last few years. But their cakes are just gonna. They sometimes they're naked, sometimes they're covered with flowers. They just go.
And that's a trend that goes up and down. You know, throughout the years, I've seen these gaudy, huge cakes, and then they came down, and then we went to cupcakes and no cakes at all at some weddings. Now the trend is back up.
Yep, it is.
Okay. Weekday weddings.
Well, that's just a leftover thing from when COVID happened, and people had to shift, and then there weren't enough dates. And as we know, 2022 and 2023 are expected to be the busiest wedding seasons, at least here in New England. So I do think you're going to start seeing them more, because it's no longer like, wait, why am I going to a wedding on a Wednesday? Or
It's going to be, okay,
yeah. And, and it's just, you just have to realize that when you're having a midday wedding, you might be saving money, but you might not have as many guests, and you they might leave earlier.
Right. And maybe you can explain why 2022 and 23 are going to be just as busy for weddings for those that are the uneducated or that just got engaged.
So when 2020 happened, there's a bunch of people who moved into 2021. And then there's some people in 2021 who moved into 2022 because of whatever reasons, families, or they bought houses, or they were all of a sudden expecting, and they decided to sort of push it forward. But all during the same time, people who were getting engaged, they were taking spots as well.
And it's building up.
So there are spots that are booked. I mean, we're booking into 2023, and I'm having people call us and ask about 2024, and I try not to cry or yell at them and say, like, I can't, like, can I just get through? This is, We're like February here of 2022, and the idea of discussing June of 2024 seems incredibly daunting to this wedding planner. But that's I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it.
Right.
But you have to be understanding if you're doing that. A lot of venues have not even priced out 2024.
Right.
And some people are like, well, it's the best way to get the best price. Not necessarily. Because they may just blindly give you a different number, because they know that their pricing is going to increase, but they don't know.
Right. Typically, there is a percentage that you add on every year, 5%, 10%. There are some vendors that are just going to whack 20%. If you call me now for 2024, I'm going to whack 20% on it regardless. Whether I book it or not, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to whack you for 20%. That's not necessarily a good thing.
Not necessarily, but you also don't know what your insurance costs are going to be. You don't know what your equipment costs are going to be. Maybe, you just, so there's a lot of unknown. Right. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't talk to vendors that you like and say, hey, can I do this? The other thing that I'm seeing, which I don't like, is saying, hey, can I book into 2024? But I just want you to basically hold the date.
No, that's not.
Or is our deposit completely refundable if we no longer like each other? Like, no.
And be prepared for that.
Yes.
Good, I like that. Laid back luxury. I just like the sound of that.
That's how I would describe you.
and that's like having outdoor ceremonies with what you provide, the benches and the church pews, stuff like that.
Having the lounges, a little bit more casual seating.
I did one at St. Clement's where they had one particular area of the room that just had high top tables, so people could just go there.
Yeah. Well, it used to be like a lounge. Like some places did like a loungy area. But like that cocktail-y, like the high top tables and stuff, it's coming back and sort of staying in the reception site so that you can, for one, still keep a little bit of social distance, because if you have a table there, it forces you to do it. It does let you put your things down without putting things on, I don't know, mantles or windowsills and things like that. So there is a luxury element to it, which sounds really silly to say over a cocktail table, but it's true.
Yeah, and it works. The next one up is pops of color. Colors are going to be brighter and more distinct.
Because I think it's because we've all been in a gray haze of COVID.
And that's what the article actually does say, is that people are in a funk, so they don't want people to be laissez-faire and to be...
Well, if you're dressing up, I mean, I'm even seeing it just in like bridesmaids dresses where we were sort of in this neutral and blush and pink tones, and all of a sudden there's these like corals and all these other colors coming back.
Love it.
Beautiful shades of blue, and it's like, ooh, okay.
I love it. All right, and then we'll wrap up with one more. This is inclusive language and roles, and by that they're meaning that you can have a best man or best woman or best person. Having those type of thing inclusive in the weddings now is something that is a trend that's going to be continuing as we go forward.
I think it's just going to become
the norm.
And it should be. It's not a big deal. But I think before, where you used to be like, oh, I have my best friend is gay, but he should be on my groom's side because all the boys are standing there. And you're also going to see this a lot with how envelopes are addressed.
Yes.
You're going to see this with escort cards. I think it's going to be a lot more of just first names and their last name instead of Mr. and Mrs.
Yes.
I think that's going to change.
Yeah. And you really have to do that. If you're a vendor listening to this, take the time, go through your paperwork, and add those inclusive
I always say
terms.
Couple. I don't.
Yeah.
But I've been doing that for.
And I
don't even know how many years.
I used to do bridal party, and then I realized sometimes it's not a bridal party; it's a wedding party.
You're standing right in front of a thing that just says the special suite. It doesn't say the bridal suite.
That's a good point. Yeah, so, if you're thinking about these things, go change your paperwork, change your website, do it. Be inclusive for anybody. It's not going to hurt anybody.
No.
And it's going to make you look cool.
It can make you look cool, but I also just think it's going to make people more comfortable.
And that's what we want, right?
You want to have a great, fun party.
Absolutely.
Okay, Sam, I think you gave us enough things with your inspirational quotes this time and everything else that I think I'm just going to cut you off so you just say goodbye.
I think this has been a great episode.
Okay, please remember that if you have any questions or comments or topics that you'd like us to cover, you can email us at engagect@gmail.com. We are now available on Anchor, the Spotify network, and exclusively on the Wedding Talk channel on youshook.com radio. Sam's always been trying to get us to go back to radio. It's good old days. And remember, you can download us for free. You can subscribe for our podcast, and you'll get it first before everybody else. And we're here every single Wednesday.
Thanks to our sponsors, EasyEventPlanning.com, Meadowbrook Estate, Emerge Cosmetics, Here to the Moon Travel, Destination Weddings Unlimited, Dollar Tree, Honey Fund, and the official new bride name change kit.
Now syndicated on the Wedding Talk channel on youshook.com radio network, America's radio station.
And we'll catch you next week. Thank you for being part of this special podcast. Yes, you are. You're coming back next week. See ya.
The Be Engaged and Inspired Wedding podcast is sponsored by EasyEventPlanning.com. They make planning any event fast and easy. EasyEventPlanning.com. This podcast is produced and copyright by Atmosphere Productions in association with Engaged Connecticut.